tuje kutandikira kuno yo mwihanga area Uganda iwohurikize ingabo zihanga eza Uganda People's Defense Forces UPDF hamwe n'abakuru abari kushananizwa akakika k'ibyo kwerinda aka parliamenti ministry y'inshonga zo munda omwihanga area Uganda hamwe n'abandi bakuru omu government bari hamukoro ogwo kwishika wadumireho amahe agihanga area Uganda warigere omumagaragensi wabereho minister w'inshonga zo munda omugenzi General Aronda Nyakairima. General Aronda Nyakairima waberezerwe ebiro mushanju ebyo kwezo kwa mushanju rukumo rwenda 59 warigire omumagaragensi ebiro 12 ebyo kwezo kwa mwenda 2015 nomwe abadumizi abamani abakozere ebyafayo omwihanga area Uganda omwe aharyabo abatahire ekishaka akashanga yo batahiba babere bagireyo okucungura government akaje yarga omumagaragensi. Engabo zihanga area Uganda eza Uganda People's Defense Forces aba UPDF akaje bagira ngo nubeja kufutaho emikoro eyo kwijuka ebyakozerwe General Aronda Nyakairima kabumwe ahabinte birkwija kugarramu amani bamwe abasirikare bakiriyo no basavinga na naba bine ebar kukorra ihanga obwahati na munonga omahe hamwe na ezindi sector eza government. Emikoreji ihohurikiziriyo n'igenda omesho bwahati president ariyo nagamba ni igenda omesho hari Munyonyo Commonwealth Hotel kandi hazaho abakuru abadumizi abakuru omahe agihanga area Uganda hamwe n'abandi barga aheri ihanga n'abandi bakuru omu government ba ministers ba member ba parliament ba commissioners bakurgo ministries zitari na zimwe abakuru bona bari hari Munyonyo Commonwealth Hotel eshaheze zindi kugambiramo bariyo no bishika amagaraga General Aronda Nyakairima na ebinte byakoreire ihanga area Uganda okutandikira omumahe ahiyabere na savinga okutandikira omumahe ahiyabere na savinga hamwe na omu ministry eyahererikire kusavingamo atakarikira omumagaragensi. Emikoro eyo kumwijika yohurikize batereho expo eya UPDF okwereka bimwe ahabintu ebiri kukorwa UPDF. Emikoro eje yatandika izoba lya hati ebiro 10 neja kugendera kimwe mpaka ebiro 12 nabayishika ebi yakozere barigire bamukorra documentary yohurikize amaze kugambira habyafayo mfutereho documentary iya bamwe ba generals bamwe abatahire urutaro urwecaka na bamwe abakozereho na omugenzi General Aronda Nyakairima okuba ruko mugambaho na president ebyamugambireho na president ariyo nagamba bwahati na kugira ngo akazarwa ebiro mushanju ebyo kwezo kwa mushanju rukumo rwenda 59 akaje yagwa ahanyonyi ari minister w'inshonga zo munda minister wa internal affairs hibabere bamwapointingire omu office y'ikwiha omwaka gw'2013 okwiha obyarga omumagaragensi biro 11 ebyo kwezo kwa mwenda 2015 General omugenzi Aronda Nyakairima atakadumireho amahe agihanga area Uganda akazarwa kuriya omu district eyarukungiri yaza ahishomero area Lubiri Senior Secondary School aho nho yahereze O level kandi akashomera hishomerera kwihara kumo rwenda nshanjo na gumwe okustera kumo rwenda nshanjo nena hagati ya kumo rwenda nshanjo netano kuzara kumo rwenda nshanjo na mshanjo akashomera ahishomero area Kituguma High School egi erishomero ndashangwa kuriya mu district ya Kituguma aho nho yahereze A level kandi kuyarigire kuriya mu district ya Kituguma hari Kituguma High School yaza hitendekero area Makerere University hitendekere iho hurikize rukumo rwenda nshanjo na munana akayahereze kujoininga batahibe ababere na bareba ngo mu government heine ebinte biriyo nibigenda omesho mwihanga area Uganda ebiru kwetenga okuhinda hindra na munonga ombi kwaterenana ebyo bwebembezi ebyo butegeki nana ebinte byabere nibigenda omesho omwihanga area Uganda ababere barho abona ko ubuntu mbamanya sahiya shirati aha university rukumo rwenda nshanjo na munana ababere nabashoma ahitendekereri ababere beine umutima gwo kugira ngo bahindure Uganda rebe ihanga eritarumu mvuyo erumu obwebembezi oburungi akashanga yuza groups izabere nizikiririza omunkoreyo nawe yazi joining kumurwenda kinana na gumwe yaguraduatinga ombandi abaguraduatingire iyo hurikiza bahereze kushoma yatunga degree ombekwaterene bya political science batahi bababere nibaronda omuhanda ogwo kuza omuchaka nawe nomwe ahari aba babere nibenda kuza omuchaka iwo hurikize ababere batungire plan abo hariho groups ezabereza hari Makerere University ezi uwikitenesa general emejenero kahindo tafirezi yabere na recruiting ampora na batahibe ababere bine connections na itendekere ya Makerere University so guna uku yahereze rukumo rwenda kinana nibiri arigira atahi itendekere rya Makerere University yatahicaka so bari yabatandikire we akabashangayo yakora nka intelligence officer beja ba mu appointing nka assistant director ambia military intelligence barigireyo beja ba mu transferinga ya za presidential protection unit ya berere PPU obunako obo nka intelligence officer beja ba mu hayo ba mu transferinga ya ba commanding officer Armored Brigade kumibirneshatu bamutorana kudumira amahe agihanga iri ya Uganda konga kwihobo opposition zeze yabirarumu UPDF keja yamutorana rukumo rwenda 96 uko bajwekera parliament kwihobo yaguma parliament konka na savinga na no muri yezo positions sahibagire kumutoranda ka ame commander 2023 nomwe ombantu narishaba serikali abo president yabere nayisiga munonga ombona kobo benja bar kumugambaho umuringo gwiyabere nakora mu emirimo ye na no kuyabere natwaza mu ebintu bye Aronda Nyakairima yohurikize yarigire yoko akusya obamu appointinga kugira ngo abe minister w'enshonga zo munda y'ihanga nibikwatirana na indangamuntu no kwandikisa abantu nabamwe abantu ababiri bari behind yo kugira ngo abantu batunge indangamuntu umbikwatira umbwire bwe nakidumira mahe nomwe abantu abakontributingire kihango umbikwatirana no kurwanisa aba Road Resistance Army okurwo matemba ga Uganda na ibindi byakozere akazigumcyara nabana zigumkaza nabana Linda Kahoza abana be so UPDF eriyo nishuka omushejo go unakugambirana na ibindi binatsigayo eriyo nishuka omushejo go bamukorera documentary yibayoreka hamikoretari yemwe nemwe namukora ya UPDF yibayoreka ha television yihanga nana endisho mikora itari yemwe nemwe nuboreka ebirungi ebi yakozire abarkwenda kurra irakari maybe ogu numwe ahabigambo ebyabere nagamba na handing over na hereza yo position ibabiri ba mapointingiremo iyo kudumira mahigi hanga na gikwatsa General Katumba Wamara ebino mwe ahabigambo ebyagambire ahizoberyo waba na hereza yo obwa CDF narashi okudumira mahigi hanga eri Uganda obwa hati position ermu General Muhoozi Kainerugaba obwa hati
The UPDF is a lot better today than it has ever been. And I believe from the bottom of my heart that such solid achievements can only be consolidated. And once again, I salute you, all the comrades. To you, my successor, comrade in arms, today, you officially take over. I do not have much to leave behind. I only leave behind a mountain for you to climb, and climb to the top. When you reach the top and you look down to the lowlands, you will be happy that the climb was worth undertaking.
Mwe habigambo by'umugenzi Aronda Nyakairima General warigiro magaragenzi nabijuka ebintu byakorire ihanga eri Uganda ukuyabere nakunda ihanga rye UPDF yamukorera documentary
a man. His name resonates through the annals of history, a name that embodies compassion, leadership, and courage in the face of danger.
For UPDF, we must finish an unfinished business. We had to come here and end this Iranian terrorist group.
This is a story of the late General Aronda Nyakairima, a soldier par excellence, a man whose legacy transcends borders and inspires generations. Heart of a Hero, the legacy of the late General Aronda Nyakairima. Lanky General Aronda Nyakairima, often cut a modest demeanor, was soft-spoken, but behind his seemingly shy persona was a man of steel.
He had this slow demeanor, even the way he walked, and seemingly shy, had this tired look, but don't be mistaken.
You see, General Aronda was a colossus of a man. He was a giant in all ways, ideologically, intellectually, as a strategic thinker. In faith, he was very religious.
A firm soldier who joined the protracted People's Struggle in 1982 under Batch 6 of the Rebel National Resistance Army, NRA, soon after leaving Makerere University.
They were a group of graduate and undergraduate students who had come run from Makerere, and they joined us in the bush.
I met him, like in the camp, because we lived in camps. I got to know that he was from Makerere. He struck me as definitely somebody that we shared. We had something in common. We were motivated by the same grievances, if I may say, or driven by the same, sentiments. Dictatorial regimes, gun-toting thugs, and determined to change the situation.
On the 6th of June, 1981, I left to go out to look for guns through the lake, and stayed out until the 9th of December when I came back. Now when I came back, when I left, these Arondas were not there, had not joined us. Because this came as a fresh group from the universities. Before I left, we had the people who had gone to the bush from the army, the old army, from UNLA, UA, and then we were also recruiting the villagers. Now, when I came back, I found that there was quite a big group of young people who had come from the universities. The Arondas, Henry Tumukunde.
As a fresh graduate with a Bachelor of Arts degree in political science, little did youthful Aronda know that his path would lead him to a life of service and sacrifice for his nation.
Even when we were participating activists in the university politics, you could really see him already a distinguished person who wanted to act deliberately, not in an excited manner.
His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, senior UPDF officers and friends who worked closely with General Aronda from the time he joined the Bush War struggle to his untimely passing on 12 September 2015, remember the fallen general as an indefatigable officer.
He was a good mobilizer of both the army and the civilian population. And he was a good communicator. He could explain his vision. He told us in one of the meetings, he said, all commanders, it was like an instruction. He said, don't waste time, whenever you meet soldiers, don't waste time with a lot of speeches, and just focus on 5 things. Discipline, health, welfare, training, and something else. There were 5 points, and he kept emphasizing that in his messages. My 5 points. My 5 points. So he was like a teacher.
He could hardly go anywhere, and he doesn't know a person in this country, the corners of this country, from LC chairman to politicians, name it, and he used that one to endear the force to the Wananchi.
For Aronda, it was not a problem at all, because that was his original starting point, to be a mobilizer. For instance, we would have some of our commanders, like the one they were calling Suicide Katunji. For them, army. For army fighting, guns. But without the people, you can't fight. And yet, the line of the NRM is the strategic reserve of the army are the people.
For him, it was not about positions, it was about work.
He believed in other people, like ourselves, the civilian part of the ministry. He believed in his colleagues, the military, and he was guiding them very well in whatever they were doing, and he would delegate to them, this for purposes of growing them and ensuring that at least, even if he's not there, government work doesn't stall.
He used to say that you cannot afford to sleep as an intelligence officer, because at the night that's when the thieves wake up. That when you sleep, when the thieves have woken up, then you are doing a disservice to your country.
Commissioned in 1986 as a junior officer 2, an equivalent of a second lieutenant today, General Aronda rose through the ranks, serving with distinction and dedication in every role assigned to him by the Commander-in-Chief, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
We can say that under General Aronda's leadership, the UPDF managed to defeat insurgencies in the country. There were many commanders who contributed, who did a lot of work in that.
They will be trained in military. They will be trained. Then after training, they will be either PCs or intelligence officers. Because of writing. Because for intelligence work, you need to write. For political work, you need to write. That's why we were taking advantage of them in that line. Some of them became very good commanders.
Days of the Bush War in the early 1980s, General Aronda honed his skills in intelligence, delving into the intricacies of people's protracted struggle and the post-1986 liberation era.
That was 2 months after the capture of Kampala. At that time, he was operating from room 15 of the Central Police Station. I remember it was during that time that the National Resistance Army carried out the first operation in the city to curb insecurity, and it was called Operation Nagoya. It was called Nagoya because we were targeting unregistered vehicles, and all those vehicles were coming from Japan, hence the name Nagoya. So I was actively involved in that operation. I was a roadblock commander around the Ginger Road, and General Aronda was coordinating.
Very close to him, and I could see his cool demeanor was when we were launching Operation Amisom, the operation in Somalia. That was 2007. We had a situation which was very dicey. We had part of our troops on the ground, part of our troops which were going through the Kenya using the water. They had not yet reached Somalia.
Yuhurikize ni party ya documentary mwe eba mukora yuhurikize harimo abadumizi abakuru abarimo Commander in Chief President w'ihanga area Uganda, umudumizi w'amahe agihanga area Uganda, Minister General Katumba Wamara, General Mugirana n'abandi, General David Muhozi n'abandi buhurikize no kuruka o ministry y'inshunga zo munda yihanga abinja bari umudocumentary ihuhurikize ayibakorere umugenzi General Aronda Nyakairima wabereho Minister w'inshunga zo munda habwihanga area Uganda kandi hona nabo wadumireho amahe agihanga area Uganda. jojogu na kugira ngo akargo magara gensi 2015 kandi akari ahamirimo ya government naza umwihanga iriya abucara kanarga umuri South Korea naza umuri Dubai nyatunga hatata ko Munyonyi yargo magara gensi President yamugambaho iyohurikize n'abandi abadumzi bagamba Mugenzi Aronda Nyakairima
of 1900 history. This booklet gives you very detailed analysis of how Africa got left behind. Now, the short speech which I will read here is an attempt to contextualize that long story and point out where the Arondas come in. In this short speech, I wrote, you cannot talk of the late General Aronda Nyakairima's role or that of other NRA UPDF personnel without understanding the Africa of 1900 at the dawn of colonialism and what happened subsequently. While much of Africa had been ravaged by the slave trade for 400 years, by that time, by 1900, our part of Africa had not been so much affected by the slave trade, although there were some isolated incidents of slave. They are known that clan is a clan of blacksmith. They do it as a clan. Or of families on a hereditary basis. Yeah, on a hereditary basis. I am a blacksmith. My children and grandchildren will be blacksmith. And everybody knows that's what we do. We don't go into crops. The Muhesi doesn't go into crops. The people do crops and they bring them to him. And then he gives them, they would then okturka, barter trade with the other families to get what they needed but did not make themselves. The long distance trade of labor support.
President w'uhurikize yagamba ibintu bingi edakika na 46 ntore edakika ngayikumi na kubantika hashaha yamwenda bari tutamusente n'abawikefa abari kukorera ibyo kunyakaravu kora pineapple fruit juice na 2 pairs pineapple drink uko nukugamba kwa president ariyo nagambira kuri ya mukoro ugo kwishuka General Aronda Nyakairima yagambe bugambo bingi ebukwatirina aho Africa erigire ecyabaretere nibaza umucaka ku General Aronda Nyakairima ku yabegeitseho n'abandi speech ndingwa.
The worker for the entrepreneur, but you participate. You must participate in producing a good or a service. and selling it. If you do that sustainably, carrying milk, carrying beef, carrying... So therefore, the prosperity of the Banyankore is more dependent on Uganda rather than on the Banyankore rural areas beyond the production of the goods and services. This is how we identified the first ideological principle of the NRM as patriotism. That's where we got it. We say, so what do you call this? To love? Because remember, there is our local word here, moyo gwagwanga. But that moyo gwagwanga, that is the spirit of the nation. It can be translated to mean the spirit of the tribe. So that's why we said, no, we need a word to describe Uganda as fatherland. And that's how we came with the word patriotism. Why love Uganda? Why? It is because you need it for your prosperity. We soon found out that the internal market of Uganda was not enough. Hence the need for the regional continental markets of Africa. We are therefore to love Africa. Why? It is because we need it. We need Africa for our prosperity. We have got so much production now. Maize, so much. Milk, so much. Bananas, eggs, cement, steel bars, all in surplus. The internal market is not enough. So it is because we need it for our prosperity. Hence the second principle of the NRM, Pan-Africanism.